They reached out to humanity for aid. They never expected an entire armada to answer. The alien world was dying. Once bright cities lay shattered beneath a blood-red sky. The enemy had come like a plague, faceless machines driven only by destruction. Every ship the aliens had built was gone. Every defense reduced to ash. Their leaders argued behind sealed doors. Their generals whispered of surrender. But all of them knew the truth. Their civilization was ending. Inside the central command tower, the final council sat in heavy silence. The air reeked of smoke and despair. At last, an elder spoke, her frail voice like glass about to break. "We have no choice. We must send the signal. Someone out there must hear us." The words hung in the air. Asking outsiders for help was unthinkable. They had always believed themselves strong, untouchable. To admit weakness was to shatter their pride. But pride could not stop the burning sky. It could not save the children cowering in shattered shelters. So the decision was made. The message was built, coded across every frequency they knew. It was stripped of dignity, raw with fear. "We are dying. We beg for help." The beacon roared into the night, a column of light piercing the dark clouds, reaching toward the cold stars beyond their dying sun. It carried coordinates, warnings, and the weight of a civilization's terror. They never expected an answer. The galaxy was merciless. Distress meant weakness, but still they hoped. Hope was all that survived. Days passed in silence. The enemy pressed on. Cities burned, seas boiled. Continents turned to wasteland. In the ruins, survivors whispered, "No one is coming." Then one night, as the council gathered to sign their surrender, the beacon changed. A signal pulsed back. At first faint, a ghost in the static, then stronger, clearer, undeniable. A voice spoke, calm, steady, warm. Not their own kind. Not their language. But its meaning was unmistakable. "This is humanity. We hear your call." The chamber froze. Generals stared, speechless. The elders gazed at the trembling screen. Humanity. A name from old star maps, a young species from the edge of known space, unknown, untested, insignificant among the great powers. "Could they truly help?" The alien leader whispered. "How many can you send?" A pause followed, heavy with thought. Then the reply came. "You asked for help, and help will come. No numbers, no promises. Only 3 final words. Hold on, wait." And for the first time in months, hope spread through the broken world, through shelters, through ruins, through tears. Someone had heard them. Someone was coming. Mothers clutched their children tighter. Soldiers raised their weapons once more, their hands trembling. Hope, fragile, uncertain, but real, flickered to life. Yet doubt still lingered. Who were these humans? Mercenaries seeking reward? Opportunists waiting to rule once the machines were gone? No one knew. And no one cared anymore. Their strength to question had long been spent. If humanity came, they would accept it. If humanity deceived them, then so be it. At least their end would not come alone. Far above the ruined world, the beacon pulsed into the endless dark. No longer a cry of despair, now a bridge, fragile but enduring, between a dying people and a mysterious race. Across the void, the promise of aid drifted among the stars. The enemy knew nothing. Their advance continued, relentless, blind to what had awakened. But in alien hearts, fear now mingled with awe, because when humanity had spoken, there was something in that voice. Steady, unyielding, almost terrifying. It had not only been a promise of rescue, it had been a warning, and though no one could yet see it, the stars had begun to shift. Far beyond charted space, engines roared in secret hangars. Orders spread across colonies. Humanity had heard the call. Humanity was moving. What that meant, no one could yet imagine. The aliens pictured perhaps a small task force, a few ships, a symbolic gesture of help. They had no idea what it truly meant when humanity answered, for when humanity moves, it does not move quietly. It moves like a rising tide. It moves like an armada. And the galaxy was about to learn what it means when an entire species rises as one. Days passed after the human reply. The aliens waited, torn between hope and dread. Humanity had promised help, yet sent no further word. The council transmitted message after message, but the beacon only returned the same 3 words. Hold on. Wait. The enemy did not wait. The machines pressed forward without mercy. Their black vessels darkened the skies, and each day another city fell. The alien soldiers fought with fading strength. Every victory was hollow, every defeat devastating. In the ruins, the people whispered, maybe humanity lied, maybe no one is coming. Then one night, something appeared at the edge of their dying system. At first, it was only a blip, a faint energy spike rising fast. Operators froze, hands shaking over cracked consoles. Another enemy wave, they thought. Alarms screamed through underground shelters. But then the readings shifted. The signature was different, unknown. High above the scorched planet, the sky rippled. The stars bent, space itself trembling. And from that wound in the void, a ship emerged. It was nothing like the machines. Sleek, towering, metal glowing with soft blue fire. Engines thrummed with power so vast it silenced the air. Observers stared, breathless. The vessel was colossal, larger than any warship they had ever built, its hull bristling with weapons, its presence filling the heavens. The council rushed to the command tower. Screens flickered. Hearts pounded. "Is it them?" whispered one trembling elder. Then the beacon flared once more. A human voice, calm, resolute, unshaken, filled the air. "This is the first of our fleet. You are not alone anymore." Gasps echoed through the hall. The chamber erupted. Voices cracked with joy. Mothers wept. Children clapped their hands for the first time in weeks. Soldiers stood straighter, shoulders squared, eyes burning with life again. They believed this was the answer, the help they had prayed for. A single human warship, vast and powerful, come to fight for them. Gratitude flooded their hearts. Relief washed through the ruins. But humanity was not done. The stars rippled again. Another ship emerged. Then a third. Then 10. One by one, they tore free from the void, forming a line across the heavens. Their engines glowed like newborn suns. Their hulls gleamed with cold light, weapons silent but waiting. The aliens could only stare. It was not one ship. It was not a squadron. It was a fleet. The first row spread out, stretching across the system's edge with flawless coordination. Then more came, wave after wave, until the black of space was broken by streaks of blue and silver. Hundreds of vessels, each a titan of war. Humanity had not sent a token force. They had sent an armada, the enemy noticed at last. Their mechanical fleets, once advancing without pause, turned sharply. Scanners flared alive, their systems overwhelmed by the sudden storm of human signatures. For the first time, the machines hesitated. On the planet below, the survivors gathered in shattered streets. They looked up, their voices trembling with awe. The sky, it's full of them. No one had ever witnessed such power. No empire had ever answered a plea with such magnitude. The alien leaders exchanged uneasy glances. Was this salvation or conquest? Were the humans here to save them or to claim what was left? The ships offered no words, no boasts, no threats. They simply moved into formation, silent, deliberate, unstoppable. Their hulls caught the faint light of the dying sun, turning the heavens into a sea of steel. The alien commander whispered what everyone felt. They move as one, like a single will commands them. A new kind of fear joined the awe. The humans were not just strong, they were united. Every vessel followed its path with mechanical precision, yet every movement felt alive, purposeful. The aliens prayed this was salvation, not the beginning of another nightmare. Across the dark, the enemy awoke. Their fleets gathered, black wings unfolding, thousands rising from the abyss. A swarm of death, the balance of power trembled, and between the dying world and the advancing horde, the human armada spread its wings. The first battle had not yet begun, but the aliens already understood. The universe they knew was about to change forever. What kind of species answered a desperate cry with such overwhelming might? What kind of people filled the heavens with warships, for strangers they had never met? The machines prepared to strike. The alien world held its breath, and in the silence before war, humanity waited, dark and still, like shadows poised to fall. The world below had never seen such a sight. Its skies, once choked with smoke and falling fire, were now veiled by the shimmering trails of engines. The human armada hovered above, a wall of steel, light, and silence, hundreds of ships, some small and swift, others massive, carrying weapons too great to imagine. Together they moved as one living thing. The alien soldiers watched from shattered bunkers, whispering in disbelief. Their generals, frozen before their flickering scanners, could not look away. The humans still spoke no words, no threats, no speeches, no demands. Only silence, and in that silence, there was power. At the far edge of the system, the enemy gathered. Their swarm thickened, a dark ocean of metal wings spreading across the stars. They had crushed every race that dared resist them. They had burned worlds to ash and turned civilizations to dust. But now, for the first time, they hesitated. Cold code ran through their networks, calculating strength, assessing danger. Yet numbers could not define what they faced. There was something different about this armada, something that could not be measured by size or firepower. It was the way they moved, the way they waited. There was no panic, no fear, only readiness. On the planet below, the council argued once more. "What do they want from us?" one leader demanded. "No one sends so many ships without expecting something in return." An elder shook her head slowly. "Do you not see? They came because we asked. No one else did. And they did not come with words. They came with power." But still, doubt lingered. The galaxy had taught them that mercy came with chains, that help was only another kind of domination. Could humanity truly be different? In orbit, the humans began to move. Small craft darted ahead, scanning the field. Massive warships shifted into flawless formations. The enemy swarm stirred uneasily, preparing for attack. But the humans did not fire. They simply waited. On every alien screen, strange symbols appeared, messages transmitted from the human fleet. Their translation was simple, chillingly clear. Hold your ground. Do not break. Watch and learn. The alien soldiers shivered as they read. The humans were not pleading for trust. They were issuing commands, confident, absolute, as though the outcome had already been decided. High above, the largest human ship ignited its engines, its massive shadow stretching across the wounded world below. It turned, revealing lines of glowing cannons, launch bays humming with restrained power. The sight filled even the desperate with awe and fear. For if humanity chose, those same weapons could erase them in an instant. Yet still the humans held their fire. "They wait," whispered the alien commander. "Why? The enemy is right there. Why do they not strike?" No one answered. The silence of the human fleet was like the calm before a cataclysm. Then the machines moved. Their swarm surged forward, black wings spreading wide. They came in numbers that drowned the stars, as certain as they had always been of their victory. The human armada did not flinch. Every ship turned as one. Engines flared white-hot. Weapons locked in perfect synchronization. Still no war cries. No signal of rage or pride. Only silence. And for one heartbeat, space itself seemed to hold its breath. On the surface, the aliens watched, trembling, breathless. The enemy was a sea of darkness. The humans stood against it, a wall of light and steel. The first shots had not yet been fired, but the truth was already clear. Humanity was not like the others. They did not beg. They did not boast. They prepared. They endured. And when they moved as one. The alien children whispered in the shelters. They looked like one great creature, and in many ways it was true. Humanity's fleet was not a collection of ships. It was a single hand, a single will stretching across the stars. The enemy swarm closed in. The first bursts of light streaked through the void, sparks of death racing toward the silent line of steel. The moment had come, and in that heartbeat before the storm broke, the aliens understood something that made their hearts pound with both awe and terror. Humanity had not come merely to answer a plea for help. They had come to reveal what they truly were. Not a scattered race, not a fragile species, but a silent power, waiting to be awakened. Power, waiting to be unleashed. The first shots streaked through the void like falling stars. The enemy machines opened fire in a storm of crimson death, dark energy beams tearing across space. Thousands of them, each one meant to destroy, to erase, to end. On the broken planet below, the alien people screamed. They had seen these beams before, the kind that reduced entire fleets to dust. But the humans did not panic. The first wave struck and vanished. The leading vessels of the human armada shimmered as their shields ignited, vast walls of blue light flaring into being. They absorbed the enemy's fury and held. The void blazed bright, then dimmed, and when it cleared, the human ships were still there, unbroken, unmoved. Gasps rose from the watching world. Their own fleets had never built defenses like these. The humans had endured the impossible, and now they answered. There was no roar. No desperate charge, only precision. Rows of ships shifted into formation. Cannons flared white-blue. Missile bays unfolded like wings. And without a single word, the human armada spoke. Not in language, but in light. The void exploded. Beams of pure energy lanced across the darkness, burning brighter and sharper than anything the aliens had ever seen. Entire ranks of the enemy fleet were sliced apart in moments, their black hulls cracking open like glass under fire. Human missiles surged forward, splitting mid-flight into swarms, each one hunting, striking, annihilating with flawless precision. The endless tide of machines buckled. The aliens watching from the ground cried out in disbelief. They had never seen the enemy falter, never seen them push back. Yet here it was, the unthinkable, humanity, tearing through the swarm with silent fury. But the battle was far from over. The machines adapted, faster, smarter, angrier. New formations surged in from every angle, surrounding the human fleet in a tightening cage of fire. Even with their strength, the humans risked being overwhelmed, but they were ready. From the heart of the Armada, silent commands rippled outward. Wings of ships turned as one, sealing off the enemy's flanks. Sleek human fighters dove through the chaos like predators, striking, vanishing, striking again. Every motion was perfect, every strike precise. It was not a battle, it was choreography. A storm made of steel and light. On the surface, the alien commander whispered in awe, "They fight as if one mind guides them all." Still, the machines came on. Colossal dreadnoughts emerged, vast as cities, weapons blazing like newborn suns. Their blasts tore space apart, and entire human squadrons vanished in the glare. For the first time, humanity's silence broke, short. Clipped voices echoed through alien receivers, cold, focused, unwavering. "Wing 7, hold the line. Block the dreadnought. Protect the flank." Human ships threw themselves into the fire. They took hits that shattered their hulls, but even as they burned, they bought seconds. And in those seconds, others struck back. Coordinated barrages ripped through the enemy's giants, splitting their armored cores, turning the massive dreadnoughts into flaming wrecks adrift in the dark. The aliens wept as they watched. The humans were saving them, and dying for it. Entire vessels were lost, crews gone to the black. But not one ship retreated, not one broke formation. For hours, the battle burned across the heavens. Explosions painted the night above the planet in colors of fire and death, so bright that even the children hiding deep in shelters saw them flicker through the cracks. The world trembled with every blast, but no one looked away. They were witnessing history. At last, after what felt like forever, the swarm began to weaken. The endless black tide was no longer endless. Debris drifted across the void, machine husks burning as they tumbled through the stars. The great dreadnoughts were gone, their shattered remains glowing like dying suns. The machines still fought, but their fury had faded, their lines broken. The human armada did not rest. They pressed forward with merciless precision, driving the enemy back, ship by ship, line by line. Every time a vessel fell, 10 more surged forward in vengeance. Every loss became fuel for their fire. Then it happened. The machine command ship revealed itself, a vast black fortress at the heart of the chaos. Its weapons blazed like miniature stars, desperate to reclaim control. But humanity had been waiting for this moment. Dozens of ships broke formation, charging head-on. Engines roared, cannons burned white-hot. From the ground, the alien council cried out, "They'll be destroyed!" But the humans did not waver. They unleashed everything: missiles, railfire, beams, an avalanche of light. The command ship retaliated, annihilating half the attackers, but the rest reached their mark. The void ignited with a flash brighter than dawn. And when the light faded, the machine fortress was gone, reduced to ash and silence. The swarm froze. Leaderless, their perfect coordination dissolved. Some fought blindly, others drifted aimlessly, their code shattered. Humanity struck hard and fast, sweeping the battlefield clean, destroying the last fragments of resistance. Then at last, silence returned to the stars. On the surface, the aliens stood in stunned awe. The unstoppable enemy, the destroyers of countless worlds, were defeated. Their night sky was no longer black, but scattered with burning wreckage and the faint blue trails of human ships. They had not been saved by chance. They had been saved by an armada that had come, fought, and bled for them. The alien leader whispered, voice trembling. They didn't just fight to survive. They fought for us. And in that moment, they understood. Humanity's strength was not only in power or weapons, it was in sacrifice. In the terrifying resolve to risk everything, not for conquest, but for compassion. The battle was done, but the galaxy had changed forever. Above the quiet planet, the stars shimmered behind drifting debris. Machine corpses floated like cold monuments, reminders of what had been. The human armada, battered but unbroken, still held formation. Survivors looked to the sky, where human ships glided in silence, their engines glowing faint blue. For the first time in months, there was peace. The aliens wept openly. They had expected extinction. Instead, they had been delivered. Not by gods, but by humans. Yet victory had its price. Many ships were gone, their hulls cracked and dark. Countless human lives had been lost. Even in triumph, the void whispered of sacrifice. In the alien command tower, the council sat speechless. Gratitude burned within them, shadowed by shame. They had begged for salvation, and humanity had answered, not with a token force, but with everything they had. Why? The beacon flickered, and a calm, worn human voice filled the chamber. Your world is safe for now. The machines will return one day. Be ready. The alien leader stepped forward, trembling. Why? Why come with so many? Why fight for us when you owed us nothing? The reply was simple, almost tender. Because you asked, and because one day we may ask too. The words struck like thunder. Humanity had not come for glory or gain. They had come because they understood. Today, the cry had been alien. Tomorrow, it could be human. The survivors bowed their heads. They realized humanity's true power was not its fleets or weapons, but its unity, its unyielding will to defend life. Any life. Children on the surface whispered stories of the Armada, ships that shone brighter than stars, warriors who never broke, strangers who became saviors. Humanity was no longer a distant name. Humanity had become legend, but not all felt comfort. In the council chamber, one elder spoke softly, his face pale. If they do this for strangers, what will they do for themselves? If they bring such force to protect others, what happens when they fight for their own? The words chilled the room. For in saving the aliens, humanity had revealed something vast and terrifying. An entire species that moved as one, fearless and absolute. If such power ever turned to wrath, nothing could withstand it. The galaxy would remember this day. Some would see saviors, others would see a new threat, but none would forget. Above the scarred world, the human ships began their silent withdrawal. One by one, they turned toward the stars, engines glowing like fading lanterns. They left no banners, no claims, no spoils. Only silence, only memory. As the last vessel vanished into the void, the alien people stood beneath a quiet sky. They had been saved, but at a terrible cost. Salvation had been bought with human blood. The alien leader raised her hands to the heavens and whispered, "We asked for help." And an entire species answered. Her words spread across the world. a vow carried on every voice. They would never forget the day humanity rose like a storm and turned despair into hope. And across the stars, others listened. Some trembled. Some marveled. Humanity had shown its hand. The message was clear. If you cry for help, they will come. But if you stand against them, beware. Because when humanity moves, it moves as one, and nothing in the galaxy will ever forget.